Hi, it's Elaine from Inspired by My Angel, CLM. And today I thought I'd like to come on. I'm getting ready to make a spring wreath, and I thought I would like to share that with you. We're working on a 14-inch. I've already gone ahead and made my bow. It's white and coral. Today the flowers that I'm going to be using, I've already cut them up. I've got these pretty daisies that have a little bit of a spiky leaf in them. I've also got a mixed bush with various shades of a pale pink, a coral, and very pale yellow daisies. I've already placed some ferns. I haven't glued those in. I was just starting to get my line, and then I thought, gee, I should do a video. So I'll be taking those out. I've also got some of this greenery. We'll be using the fern that I already have placed on. But this is a little drapey, wispy, and I thought I would use that towards the inside just to get a little wispy, springy feel. So I think that's it. Oh, I also have a few of these little pom-poms, 4 of these little pom-pom flowers for more texture that I'll be adding in as well. So the reason I'm here today is I am wanting to give any of you who are viewing this video a view as a newbie. I have just begun my journey on making wreaths, and I thought that I would like to take those of you who would enjoy along with me, just to give you a little bit of background. I'm just going to slip these off while I'm talking. My journey began in September of 2020. Finding myself without a job. I decided I wanted to put up a fall wreath, but didn't want to spend the money as my finances had been cut with the loss of my job. So went to YouTube and started watching videos, just like maybe some of you are doing today. I started watching videos, and there were so many talented designers who were willing to share their talents and give guidance as to how you go about making wreaths, that I thought, gee, that's something that I would like to do, is to give back as well, but from the perspective of not being an experienced designer, to let you see what my journey's been like. So after making my first wreath back in September, I was overwhelmed with joy. I could not believe how good I felt creating that first wreath. So I was hooked. So I began researching and wanting to make more wreaths, and through all of my research I found out about Etsy. I have since opened an Etsy shop. The name of that is Inspired by My Angel, CLM, and I began making wreaths to gather inventory for my Etsy shop. I did sign up for design classes. I felt as though that was something I needed to do. Not understanding all there was to making a wreath. So I did join a online class, which I thoroughly enjoy. And then about a month later, I found another designer who I really liked her style, and she was offering an online class. So I decided I would sign up for that one as well. So I've been in design school beginning in October of 2020, and thoroughly enjoying it. I would recommend it to anyone who is just beginning. But what I'm doing here today is showing you a little of what I've learned and hopefully could inspire you so that you can see it can be done. It's something that we can do. So that's the reason for my video today. And I'm not a professional, like I said. I'm new at this. So show me some grace, please. If you're watching this video, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel and commenting below how you like it. So let's get started. The first thing that I have learned is when starting out, we need to create a line, or they call it also greening the base. And that's what I'm going to be doing with these ferns. I know my lighting isn't that good. I'm not really set up that well for videos, but hopefully you'll be able to see this. And what I do is I take each piece that I'm going to add into the wreath, I give it a little bend so that it's not just straight and flat. So I'm going to dip the end of the stem in my glue skillet, and this is going to be the top. I'm going to do a crescent design, just doing 1/2 of the wreath. So I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to insert my fern, making sure it's not flat. Also want to get out my moss, Spanish moss. This is something else I've learned. To give a little more stability to the stem is to place a little bit of Spanish moss at the insertion point when needed, if it feels like it's loose. And also to cover any of your glue. Okay. So that's establishing how high off the wreath I want to come. Okay, so we'll just continue along. The other thing that I've learned I'm going to share with you is whatever I do up here, come to the opposite side. Perhaps as time goes on, that's something that I wouldn't necessarily need to do, but at this present time, it keeps me more focused on the design. So because I placed one here, I'm going to come down below, and right below the bow, I'm going to establish a line on the lower half of our wreath. So I'm just putting glue. I'm going to insert, and I'm inserting in the direction of the grapevine, sliding along the pieces, not going straight through. And that one looks good. I don't think I need to add any moss to that. So we've got one up top, we've got one at the bottom. I want something to come out on this side of the bow as well. So let me get a piece. And again, like I said, I bend everything so it has a little movement. And I'm going to come in right here, opposite this one, behind the bow again. Making sure to give it a lift. We don't want that to be flat. We want the wreath to have some dimension. Okay, so I've got that one placed. Okay, so we've got 3 pieces. So now let's go in between those two. I have one here. It's even got the little curl that ferns have. And let's place this one. And just have that bend in a little bit. So out here, maybe have it come back in the way a fern would grow in nature. That looks good. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I'm leaving about a 2-inch stem, sliding in the direction that the grapevine is going. Making sure it's not flat. That looks nice. Okay, now I think I need something over here behind our bow. And again, let me say, the bow is our transition. Wherever your bow is placed, anything above the bow is going to go in this direction. Anything below the bow will follow in this direction. So we need to keep that in mind as we're placing our fern. So right now, I want to come down here below my bow tails and put something opposite. So I'm going to come in here, and again, it's coming straight down, but it's still going in that transition direction. Oops. Insert that. Give it some bend and lift. Kind of separating our tails of our bow. So we've got that piece in place. And now I think I'd like to have one more, almost as if it's coming out of the bow. So I have a little shorter one here. I think I'll use that one because I don't want to come out too much further. So let me get that inserted. I'm dipping my glue in a glue skillet, and all that is a regular kitchen electric fry pan that you can buy at Walmart, Amazon, anywhere where they sell small appliances. And you put your regular glue sticks in and let them melt, and it's much easier to just dip your stems into the glue. Less chance of you getting burnt as well. I've got one more fern, and I think I'm going to come from behind the bow a little bit more towards the center. And I think we'll have, or unless I went up here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go up here because we'll have some florals down there. We'll put this one there and let that come down. Yeah, giving us our shape. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I do have one more small one. So I'll take that one and put it over here. And then we'll have created our line for our wreath. Okay, I hope you can see that okay. Eventually I'll get some better lighting here in my little workshop. Okay, so now we'll start with some of our florals. Or actually, before I do that, let me get some of these inside, this inside greenery that I talked to you about that's very wispy. I'd like to have some of that, and what my thought was is having that trail inside the circle of the wreath. So I'm going to place one there. Again, giving it some direction by bending. Let's get another piece. Cut that a little shorter. And maybe over here. So we've got a little movement in the center of the wreath. Be easier to get this in now than after we have our florals. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's get another piece. And what I find, I mean, there are rules like establishing your line, filler flowers, focal flowers, but when it comes to placement, a lot of it is what's pleasing to your eye. Okay, I think I'd like to have one of these the way it's going to drape over here behind this fern that we had already placed. I had put one up there, so I'm going to come down to the bottom, like I said, working back and forth. And that's just going to give a little wispy down, and so we placed one there. I'm going to come on the other side of the bow and get one placed in there. Yeah, that would look nice. The other thing that I have learned on this journey is creating interest in your design, and that usually happens with your florals, your greenery, but starting with the greenery, what I've been told is try to use at least 3 varieties of greenery. Number 1, the shading is going to be different, so you're going to be creating different colors. Also, their texture will be different, creating more texture to your wreath, and that's what we want. By not placing our greenery and florals flat against the wreath, we're creating dimension. So that's the goal. Now I have this other larger piece, and I think I'd like that to come under the bow, hanging down. And with these pieces, I think what we're doing is creating some movement. Because when this is on someone's door, this is going to be terrific. The wind, as the wind comes by, it's going to move. And to me, that just makes the wreath all that more appealing. Okay, so let's bring a little to the outside here. Or perhaps, you know, maybe I'll go between these two. I think I can cut that stem a little shorter. So we'll go right up here, and I'm working pretty much along the outside of the wreath, other than these pieces I brought to the inside. And now we'll start layering and coming in. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. If I can get that a little closer for you to see, you can see how it's not flat. We've got some movement down here. We've still got some of this greenery. We can always come back and add some more later. But for now, I think maybe one more piece up in here, and that'll be it, and we'll start putting in the florals. So this one seems a little long. I'm going to cut it a little shorter. You want it long enough that you're going to get good contact with the grapevine and some length to slide it in, but not so long that you're filling up your wreath with all stems and there's no room when you come back to put in your florals. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking over here. Yeah. There we go. So we've got a really nice backdrop. Maybe one more here. I keep saying I'm done, but then you look at it and you can see another area that it would look nice. Yeah, I'll bring that down there. Okay, so we've got a little backdrop for our florals now. Okay. So let's get some of our florals in. I'm going to start off, I think, with the daisies. And this has like a little spiky leaf on it. I like that. That's going to add another texture. So let's come up here, and we don't want to exceed our line. I want to drop down a little shorter. So I'm going to come in here, just step down a little bit with my greenery, not making it flat. So we've got that first daisy in. We put one there. I'm going to come down here. So we're going to kind of be stair-stepping as we go in from our line that we've created. So I'm going to just sneak in here, bringing it close to the bow, but I'm still far enough away. Oops, and I just pulled this daisy off. So let me just apply a tad bit of glue. That'll happen. And just put my daisy back on. Okay. Oops, I must not have got enough glue. It came off again. All right, let me get that glue on there. Better. Holding my petals out of the way. Let me slip that in. Okay, it's got glue. I don't know why it's not staying. It should stay this time. That looks nice. So here we have another daisy. We've got one there. We've got one here. Let's create a triangle. Let's get another one over here. That's the other thing that I've learned. Creating triangles throughout your design helps with your placement. Slide that one in. Again, it's not taller than our fern. It's not flat against the wreath. So we've got one there. I think I'm going to come down here below the bow. We don't want to forget about that area and leave it empty. And I'm going to get that. Looks nice, kind of peeking through our ribbon. Actually, let's see, we twist that around a little and have that coming up, peeking through. That looks nice. Get my other bow loop down. That's another thing, you'll find yourself constantly adjusting your ribbon because every time you place something, you squish your bow. Okay, if you can see that, that looks nice. We've got that daisy just coming up in between. Okay, so let's see. I think we could use one coming out here. So maybe one that has that spiky on there. Trim it down a little. That'll be nice. What I'm trying to do is get my florals evenly dispersed throughout So that's why I'm starting with the white daisy, and then I'll go in between with our other colors that we have. Excuse me. Okay, I think we need to bring one down. We're going to leave a space, so we'll be able to come in with our other florals. We'll go right above this piece of greenery that we placed here. That way we've still got some grapevine showing. I want to make sure we keep some. I think that for the daisies right now, we've still got more. We'll come back. But let's introduce some of these other florals. Okay, here's another one. It has little spiky grass on it. So I think I'll come right down here. Maybe not though. That might be too much further than our fern. There we go. That'll work. So I'm going to come right in between and place that coral, and it has a little tiny white flower as well. And we're not beyond our lime flowers that we established with our greenery. Okay, here's another one. Tinier. Actually, let me stay with the more medium sized, and then I'll come back in with the tiny. Okay, here's another one. And it's got a few berries on it. So we placed one here. Let's go up there and place one. Cut this a little bit shorter. So we could come right in here. Can let that berry stand up. This one can drape towards the center. We've got a little more color up there, and it's a little deeper in, so it's again creating that dimension. Okay. All right, here's one in a different color that has that spiky, I think it's like a poppy. We've got one here, so let's put one up here. Make that shorter. We'll come right in between these two daisies just to distribute a little more color. Has those spikes, but they're not going past our line. They're just about equal, and the flowers are inside more, and the little white floral is just flowing into the center. Okay, so we've got the deeper coral. That was a lighter one. We've got the deeper. This has a little more color to it, so I think I want to bring that over here. So we've got our triangle going on again. Always coming back to that triangle, whether it's the flower placement, the color placement. Let me see. And you don't want everything to be facing forward, because in nature it wouldn't be facing forward. So we've got this one trailing and facing the side. And that's another thing. On a person's, your customer's door, as people approach, they'll be seeing all angles. So you want to make sure you take all of that into consideration when you're placing your florals as well. Okay. So then I just kind of step back take a look. I like the way that's going out to that side. I feel as though I could use a little something over here. So I'm wondering if maybe one with these spiky leaves wouldn't look nice and fill in this space here. And I think it would. So I'm going to cut it a little. So we have those spikes coming out. The floral you can't see from the front, but whoever is stepping up on the staircase at the door would be able to see that. So it's just tucked in over here to the side. Okay. Here's another one of those spiky ones. We've got a spiky here. We've got one here, here, and here. How about maybe coming up there? Just make it shorter. I think we'll go right behind this fern. Well, not behind it. Coming forward, but between that and the other one. Just letting those ferns move in different directions. That looks nice. Although I've got two of that coral color close together there. Let's see if we can... let me bring a daisy up in that area just to break that a little bit. A little shorter, but still it's in there. Yeah, I like that better. I'm just pulling my glue strings and dropping them back into my electric skillet. So that looks pretty. This is filling in nicely. Okay, we've got another one. It's got a little berry. I'm thinking we'll put that one right in here. It's going to fill in right here above our bow. We're starting to fill in, so now I'm looking for holes that need to be filled in. And that did that nicely. And then you have the little white one cascading over the coral ribbon. That's pretty. Okay. I'm thinking right up here, we could use a little more fullness. So I'm going to place this one up here. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, I've got some smaller little blooms, so I'm thinking as this trails off, we'll do more of the smaller buds to the outside here. Just kind of mix it in with this drapey. Let me go under that. So we've got a little greenery on either side. Yeah, that looks pretty. Maybe a little more downward, like that. So I want to leave this area open. That looks pretty. And I'm thinking another one of these here, maybe more to the inside. Yeah. That's pretty. We need something here. I can see a hole there. So I've got another one of our daisies. I think would be good there. I can cut it a little shorter. I'm still within my line that I established earlier. I like this. I like the fern. I love the different textures. Just move your florals around if you need to. Pull that string, just kind of step back. I can see a spot right here. So I want to go in with some of the white. I want to place it a little deeper in so it draws the eye to the inside of the design. So it's away and then going in, and your eye just travels all throughout the wreath. Yeah, there you go. You see that? So that filled that in nicely. Okay, looks like we've got 4 of our florals left. So now we'll just take a look and see where we need those. I'm thinking right here behind the bow coming into the center. I've got this one. Has little berries. That might look nice in there. Doesn't need to be too long, so I'm going to trim it. Yeah, it's got the berry. So that's just peeking out from inside. I don't care for this one right here, so I think I'm going to cut that and move it. That's another thing I learned. Don't worry, don't be afraid. Just put it in there. If you don't like it, you can just take it out. So that was just this little tiny flower, and I think that would look prettier, or maybe coming from up here. So let's just tuck that in right up there. It would seem to be too straight coming from the bottom there. Okay, let's see. Maybe a little more over here. Take a longer one. Yeah, have it come down there. That would be good. So these are hanging down, going in another direction. If someone was walking, if this was hung high, someone's walking up the stairs, they're immediately going to see florals in that area. And I'm thinking right here where we took that one out, that other little straight one out, we'll just tuck that one in a little shorter. That looks nice there. That filled that space. And let's see. I think that's going to be too crowded there. So let me just stand back, glance, see where we could use a little more. There's a lot of white right there, so maybe break it up right up there. And that's all it is. It's stepping back and looking at it and what's pleasing to your eye. It just the wreath tells you where it needs more. That looks very pretty. By golly, I think we did it. Don't know how well you can see this, and I do apologize, but I will be, you can see there's the back of the wreath. It's nice and clean. None of my stems have come through because I went in at an angle. We've got some green coming here and some florals. Also here, there's the top. So the next thing that I'll do is I'll go over this. I'll let the glue set up. I will go over this and remove any glue strings. I'll fill in with moss if there's areas that I feel need that. I'll check every piece to make sure it's good and secure. And then the next step is to take photographs so that I can list this in my Etsy shop. So it'll be a series of about 10 photographs and one short video coming in close because people are buying online, and just to give them a more up close so they can get a feel of what the wreath looks like. Oh, I forgot my pom-poms. How about, let's see, I think right up there. Doesn't need to be quite that long, but I want it to have a little bit of length. Just a little pop of color up there, because this is a little bit of that deeper coral, which I don't know. I am in love with that color this year. Again, you can see in the wind, just a little movement will be so pretty. And because we put that one there, I think I'd like to come in there. Or do you think that looks too crowded right there? I don't want to put it in with the bow. Let's try it. If I don't like it later, I'll take it out. Apologize if my head is in your way. I'll get out of your way and just, yeah, that looks nice. And see, that'll move also. So that's bringing in another texture. We've got berries. We've got different kinds of greenery. We've got these. We've got ferns. I think we accomplished everything that I've been shown in design class that I'm sharing with you. And I think we covered it all nicely. So let me see the finish. We started with a 14-inch grapevine, and now you measure from the very tip of the highest, and I'm going to come down to the lowest. It's 26 inches long. So it's it's a nice large statement wreath. So then I'm going to come out here where that tip is into the end, 21. So what did I say? We're 26 by 21, and our depth, we come out to the top of our bow and a little beyond that, because some of our flowers come out, we're about 10 inches deep. So this style wreath is not going to fit between a storm door. This is a design that needs to be next to the front door, on the side of the house, on your porch. would look lovely inside your entryway on a wall there. This would be beautiful hanging over a mirror in your dining area. Gorgeous on a bedroom wall. Maybe put it over the headboard. It's large enough that it could create that statement in the bedroom. So it's a very, it's not bold. I mean, it's soft. It's a very soft in color. It's very wispy. But it's a bolder design in its size, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, as I was saying before, I will get this listed in my Etsy shop. If you don't want to take the time to make this yourself, although I do hope I've inspired you to try. If you would like to purchase this wreath, I should have it listed in my Etsy shop, Inspired by My Angel, CLM. Even if you don't go in to purchase this particular wreath, please take the time to look at some of the other items. I've got about 90 different pieces of decor, wreaths, centerpieces, mesh wreaths as well, whimsical. Take a look and favorite my shop, like it, tell your friends if you think it's something that they would like. You'd be helping me tremendously with my new business that I've started. And I want to take this time right now to say thank you so much. Leave me a comment below this video. Subscribe to my channel. In the comments, if you would let me know how I'm doing. Was I clear? Could you understand? Do you feel as though this is something that you would be able to do with the direction that I've given you? I would certainly appreciate that feedback. It would help me grow as a designer. So again, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for coming along on my journey, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye-bye now.